Hey everybody, it's Joe Chaffee on this Saturday afternoon. I know some of you have pointed out that my blue shirt, which is my video shirt, so I changed it today. So we went to the more plaid look, and I hope that satisfies you fashionistas out there that pay attention to these things. So we have this weather front that's draped across Long Island and northern New Jersey into eastern Pennsylvania, and it's quite a contrast here as we look at the temperatures that are in southern New England and in the Hudson Valley. They're dropping now through the 40s and even 30s now, beginning to show up in places like Poughkeepsie and Kingston and near Beacon. You get down closer to New York City and northern New Jersey where the boundary of that front is, and we've got some upper 40s in eastern Long Island and through coastal Connecticut, and then we get into some low 50s. But look at these temperatures as you get down into the southern half of New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania, and over back through most of southern PA on up into Maryland, on down into Maryland. Always the down is always south and up is always north. Whatever it is, you get the idea. Anyway, we go down into Maryland, northeastern Virginia, Delaware, and in through southern New Jersey. We have temperatures in the mid 70s and even some 80-degree readings showing up. I know Atlantic City got to 79 at 2 o'clock. There's a 81-degree temperature in Vineland, which is inland, and also I'm not sure which station this is that's reporting. It's probably just it could be a weather observing station of some sort, but not an airport. 80 being reported there in western parts of Cape May County, and we've got upper 70s all around Delaware, around the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. So you can see the huge contrast. Now, I try to forecast for the entire state of New Jersey. So basically, I should have went for a high from 45 in the northwest to 80 in the southeast, so a 35-degree temperature spread over a span of about a couple of hundred miles or even less than that. But truly is what happens this time of year as the March sun really wants to heat things up in a hurry, and then these backdoor cold fronts cut everything in half, and then you start to get into the colder air that's up to the north. If we look up, by the way, into Massachusetts and over into parts of southern Vermont and New Hampshire, and into Maine, southern Maine, we have snow here that is falling, and even back over into parts of northeastern New York. Reports of snow and rain mix going, looks like right all along I-90, going all the way back west to south of Syracuse and Rochester. So quite the weather day as we look. And we also have severe weather going on. Here's the radar, and we have this upper air storm and surface storm sitting back through Missouri, and you can see that swirl in the radar echoes. When you ever get that comma shape, you always know that something powerful going on in the atmosphere someplace. And indeed, we've got some heavy, strong thunderstorms from central Alabama. It looks like a couple of lines in here. There's one line here. There's another stronger line with severe thunderstorms approaching and moving through New Orleans and southeastern Louisiana and into southern Mississippi. And in fact, when we look at the Storm Prediction Center, is outlook today. Let me go back to the risk, and you can see where the risk is today. It has a large area of marginal risk going up through eastern Missouri and Illinois, into western Kentucky and Tennessee, and then it extends southward into Mississippi and Alabama with this area of slight risk going on, which when we go back to the radar, you can see that where the slight risk is from central Alabama on across southern Mississippi and Louisiana really matches up quite well with what the radar echoes are showing here. So it's a pretty rough round of severe weather occurring today, and coming on the heels of the severe weather that we saw yesterday in East Texas, western Arkansas, and through much of western and central Missouri as this weather system continues to slowly move its way to the northeast. Now, we'll take a look at where models are going with all this. And, this time of year, you get a couple of things happening, aside from the fact that these spring storms, these both upper air storms and the surface storms, they take their time moving. The jet stream slowly relaxing over the next couple of months as we go from winter to summer. So things start to move, they slow down. So it takes longer for things to play out. And here's our system from today. Now, I don't think there's going to be too much of a severe weather risk tomorrow. There might be some stronger thunderstorms possible in the southeastern U.S., but that low winds up going into northern Michigan. And we've got this front here in the east, that old, that backdoor cold front is going to come back up again. This front came through yesterday as a warm front. Now it's dropping southward as a cold front, and then it's going to try to go back north as a warm front as we go into Monday. So sometimes these things have a tough time getting through this time of year. So I'm not sure whether we're going to have, at least at the bottom part of the atmosphere, that we're going to have that warmer air come back in. It's also going to come with some showers, so it's not going to be like today where we've had those areas in South Jersey, for example, are enjoying some sunshine through all of this. So that system goes by. Meanwhile, out in the west, we've got a little system that's coming into the Pacific Northwest, and that brings some snow to California, Nevada, Utah, and eventually, yes, even into Colorado. Northern Colorado on the GFS at least showing some rain there with some snow probably in the higher terrain, in the higher elevations. That's kind of odd to say in Colorado because I think everything in Colorado is higher elevations. But low pressure is going to develop down in New Mexico. Meanwhile, in the east, we still have chances for rain here on Tuesday. And by the way, there's a low that's forming north of Puerto Rico, east of the Bahamas. It's going to turn into quite a little gale center here as it turns up north and northeast. If this were June, maybe we'd be looking at that as a possible subtropical system, but it's not June. It's late March. The water temperatures aren't warm enough. But going forward here after Tuesday, looks like weather conditions improve in the east, but we've got another potent little low that's going to be coming out of New Mexico, and that's looking to produce maybe a severe weather threat in the middle of next week across eastern Texas and eastern Oklahoma and back through Colorado. Some heavier rains being indicated there, along with some snow, and that low gradually translates either east or northeast, depending on what model you look at. The European wants to bring this up into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, much like what we're seeing with this system for Monday, Tuesday, and that seems to be the more likely idea, in my view, that's what will probably happen. And more action in the western part of the U.S. So now we're at Monday, April 3rd. We have a low coming out of the Gulf of Mexico here. Now the European is much further north with this. Again, I tend to think that's probably the case. The GFS has been overzealous in developing gale centers left and right over the last week or so, and I don't think any of these, I'm not sure if any of these are going to really happen. But this is at day 10 now, which is April 5th, and it's got a wrapped up low running up the coast on Tuesday, April 4th, that goes into the Gulf of Maine. But again, I think that's probably overdone, and we'll continue to see more weather systems moving across a very active spring pattern. This is a little different than last year. The early part of the spring, as I remember it last year, especially here in the east, we did not get very many chances for rain because we were still kind of trying to work off the super El Nino, so it kept things relatively dry. I think this month is evolving into something much different with regards to that. So that's good to see with respect to the longer term, because the snowfall this winter and the melted precipitation was a little bit above normal, and that was a good thing. And that will, at the very least, kept everything on pace. The drought conditions didn't get any worse. In some cases, it got better. And we're probably going to see, water levels come up to more normal levels after the snow melt is done, which is also a good thing. Now, as we look at the upper air pattern, again, very much a spring-like look to it. Lots of weather systems running around in the flow. You got this west to east flow coming in off the Pacific. Cold air is going to be shut off for the most part. There'll be little intrusions here and there, but nothing significant. Here comes one for the middle of next week behind that system on Tuesday. That will bring in a little shot of cold air, but nothing, I think, too extreme. And then, of course, here's that possible powerhouse for the areas of Texas and the Western Gulf for the middle part of next week. A little bit of a colder flow here into the Northeast, but no big deal, and a temporary reprieve in the West with that ridge building, and then moving along. It's like one after another after another. That's actually, regardless of how the models are showing the depth of each system, they are pretty consistent with showing this kind of bowling alley of weather systems coming in off the Pacific with that strong Pacific jet. So that part of it at least is pretty consistent with regards to the flow. So very interesting day with this backdoor front. We'll give one last check of temperatures here, and we still got a couple of 80-degree readings showing up in southern New Jersey. 40 temperatures in the 40s in northwest New Jersey, temperatures in the 40s at eastern Long Island and Connecticut, upper 30s and low 40s as you go north of the Hudson Valley. White Plains, for example, is 54. You jump up to Newburgh, and it's 40, and it's not that many miles to go from White Plains to Newburgh to Poughkeepsie. So that's a pretty big temperature change over a relatively short distance, and that front's going to continue to sag southward as we move through the rest of this Saturday, and it's going to mean for a very chilly, clammy Sunday for areas in the northern half of New Jersey, Long Island, and for southern New England and the Hudson Valley. Latest website posts on meteorologistjoechaffee.com. Angry Ben has all the latest regarding all this with New York City on nycweathernow.com. And if you've lasted this long on my YouTube video, almost 12 minutes, thank you. And do subscribe to my YouTube channel. That subscription is absolutely free, and you get notifications of any new videos that come up. Usually it's once a day, except in storm situations. I try to do it a bit more frequently. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.